when President Donald Trump on Thursday met with victims, families and others affected by the shooting at Santa Fe High School in Texas, which left 10 people dead and 13 wounded. At least one parent was not impressed with his demeanor, continuing a pattern of the president failing to show empathy during tragedies. Rhonda Hart, whose daughter, Kimberly Vaughn, was among 8 students who died in the shooting last month, told the Associated Press her conversation with Trump was like talking to a toddler, according to Hart. Trump repeatedly brought up arming teachers, a policy proposal he has frequently promoted after school shootings. Hart, an Army veteran, said she also suggested employing veterans as sentinels in schools. She said Trump responded, "And arm them?" She replied, "No," but said Trump kept mentioning arming classroom teachers. "It was like talking to a toddler," Hart said. She said the president also focused on the shooter and his appearance, repeatedly describing him as wacky. The White House did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the meeting, which was closed to reporters. On Thursday, Deputy Press Secretary Hogan Gidley told reporters on Air Force One that the meeting was very impactful and a very emotional time. "I don't want to get into the private meeting as it relates to the grieving families that experienced such a horrific tragedy. But it was very impactful. It was a very emotional time," he said. "They've suffered a great loss and a great tragedy. And out of respect for them in the grieving process, I'm not going to get into the details of the meeting." While presidents have long assumed the role of consoler-in-chief as part of their leadership duties, Trump has regularly demonstrated a lack of empathy in responding to tragedies, from school shootings to deadly storms. After the shooting massacre at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in February, survivor Samantha Fuentes told the New York Times that Trump didn't make me feel better in the slightest, and that she had never been so unimpressed by a person in my life. During a White House listening session after the shooting, Trump was seen holding a note card reminding him to tell victims and families that, "I hear you." Trump received backlash after being seen holding a note card reminding him to tell shooting victims and families that, "I hear you." Last year, while touring hurricane-ravaged Puerto Rico, Trump downplayed the damage is not a real catastrophe like Katrina, told the family to have a good time, encouraged officials to praise him in the government's widely criticized response to the storm, and reveled in throwing paper towels to residents at a church. Other attendees of Thursday's meeting with Trump reported more positive interactions. John Tisdale, the brother-in-law of substitute art teacher Cynthia Tisdale, wrote in a Facebook post that her widower, William, enjoyed meeting President Trump Thursday. Galveston County Sheriff Henry Trocheset told the Houston Chronicle that Trump got emotional while listening to survivors. He was concerned about what was going on with them, and the families, he said. He listened to their ideas, how things could be maybe put in a place to change or prevent this from happening again. If you have more information about Trump's meeting, via email marina.fang@huffpost.com. This story has been updated with additional details from Trump's meeting. Related coverage. Parkland survivor, "I've never been so unimpressed by a person," after Trump downplays Puerto Rico's suffering, says it's not a real catastrophe. Like Katrina, nation's top teachers tell Trump about the importance of empathy. Trump needs reminder to listen to Parkland survivors in listening session. Download. Do you have information you want to share with HuffPost? Here's how.